Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hardcore Fab Shop. I'm Anthony Bronner, and on today's video, we're going to be working back here on the No Regrets buggy again. We've got a bunch of stuff done on it since you guys have seen it last, and I want to show you guys all that real quick. And then today I need to finish up some more work on it because tomorrow this thing goes to powder coat. So hopefully by the end of this video, we've got something bright and shiny sitting here that's at least a roller and looking like an RZR buggy. So stick around and see how far we get. Well, she looks totally different than last time you guys seen it. We added a ton more stuff on here to it, and we'll walk around and kind of show you guys some of the stuff that's happening here and maybe talk about the reasons why and everything. I guess we'll just start right here at the back. You can see we've got a bumper on the back now. We've got all the suspension points and everything are all in. You can see this one's kind of just sitting there, hanging there. It's kind of testing out where things would be at ride height, and that's pretty close to where that will be at ride height, I believe. So yeah, we got the back bumper on there. That ties in all the rear suspension stuff there. And then it also has got a cover up here to go over the exhaust. So got some stuff kind of plasma cut in there. I'm going to tab this out here today and then get a panel for that to go in there. So that'll kind of cover that all up. Got a cool little exhaust tip on there going on. And you can kind of see the back. We still have to get the radiators in there, but we'll do that after it comes back from powder coat. The top bar up here, you can see that top bar is flat. That's going to be a great location to be able to put a chase light if need be later on in the future. And we're going to probably recess some tail lights in through this area right here. So that's going to need to get tabbed out for some panels as well. The rest of the panels are going to go one in that one right there. There'll be one in that section, one in this section, and that section, of course. And then around here on the front side, there'll be another panel in there. Also going to do a hood on it. The hood is going to run this line kind of right through here and flow right on into the dash. Those bars will be sticking out of the hood. I think that'd be kind of a cool look there. Going to have a little trap door here to open up to be able to get to the fuel. The rest of that'll be pretty well just kind of a clean slate right across through there. I'm going to do a trap door in here for the battery, so we'll be able to access the battery super easy. That'll be great. And then probably a little raised section there for the rugged radio in the middle. I guess while we're up here, you can see that it's got a little front bumper on there for a little bash bar, and then we've got some tabs and everything in here now for the headlights up in there, and then the winch is mounted in there as well. Then you can see the fuel tank in there. It takes up that whole entire section in the middle there. We tried to use up every last little bit of that we can. This was the top off the fuel tank originally. So what I ended up doing was cutting that off. You can kind of see now the little bit of that's gone. We didn't lose too much fuel that way. We still have a pretty decent sized tank, so we'll be able to do some trail riding and not have to worry about running out, at least right off the bat. Probably have to fill up at lunchtime or whatever, type of deals. But overall, I think that's still a pretty decent sized gas tank for what we got going on here. You can kind of see in here the center console area. Got a nice swoopy piece going in through there for that. And I've got the shifter mounted in there. Up in here, we've got our area for our gauges and our switches and stuff. The piece right here is going to have the little round circle piece that's always in a razor mounted in it, and then up above in there we'll have some of the switches and things like that. And then, like I said before, up in the center section there, right above there, will be the rugged radio stuff. On the sides, you can see we got the tree kickers on there. Kind of start up here with a nice swoop into the frame, and then it kicks out right along the side of the tire there. So the idea behind these are that if you did hit a tree on the trail, it's going to run right down that bar, and once it gets to the tire, it's just going to kind of skip around the tire at that point. Should just kind of deflect around it. Otherwise, you'd have the tree go right directly into the wheel, and then you'd have to worry about wheel bearings and stuff getting tore up and some of the rest suspension, and also just getting hung up on the tree itself. Are planning on putting in some panels up here on the roof as well, so still have to tab all that stuff out too. The back sections there will get panels over the driver and passenger, and then those front three sections up there won't have anything because we want to be able to see up the hills that we're climbing. The front windshield bars, I left them pretty flat across the front, and I did that for a reason so that later on, if he ever wanted to put a windshield across there, he could. Like I said, he is planning on doing some trail riding and stuff with this as well, so that might be kind of a nice feature to have later on if, cold weather or things like that, be able to stick a windshield back up there. So we've got all the other tabs and brackets pretty much in other than the body stuff, so we need to get a rest of all those in. I think there's going to be, I don't know, 140 of them or something like that. It's kind of crazy. So I know I've done already plasma cut out at least 100 of them or so right in that neighborhood. So get those all in, see how many were shy, and then I can cut out the rest of those. And hopefully Connor's going to show up today, because then we're going to get this thing off the table and disassemble everything and start rolling it around, welding everything all up, and like I said, get it ready to go to powder coat. Guys, I gotta tell you, that was a ton of work to be able to get this thing off and ready for powder coat, but we got it there. It has been there and back now, and woo! I am sitting here looking at it, and she bad. Yeah, she is. She bright. She's shiny. I hope my camera does this color justice, because this might quite possibly be my new favorite color. So let me flip it around and show it to you guys, and like I said, hopefully it'll do it justice. Well, here it is. Man, I wish this looked the same on my phone as it does in person. I'm sitting here looking at the screen, looking at the buggy, and the buggy is way better looking. There's a ton of pearl in this thing or something. I don't know exactly what's going on with this color. If I get zoomed in on here real close, you guys can kind of see maybe some of the specks in there. So if you see all that, all those specks and everything, that's actually some kind of a pearl that's mixed in there with the color. So you can only imagine that it kind of changes colors. And outside, this thing popped even better than it does here in the shop. And in the shop right now, it's popping pretty good. It almost looks like it would glow in the dark if I was to turn the lights off. Man, that sucks that it doesn't show you guys the same thing that it shows me with my eyes, because, like I said, this thing is sick. I mean, it looks good on the screen, but it looks sick in person, so... Connor's here, so I guess it's time to go to work. So I guess I ought to show you these other parts too. So he also got the bead locks done, and also got our little plate there to go over the top of our exhaust, and some other little parts and pieces, and our back bumper here, all painted, or all powder coated with the same, crap, I forgot what color it is, sublime green, or, I'll ask him. I'll put it right here for you guys. I can't remember what it is now off the top of my head, the color, but whatever it is, I like it. It's sweet. And speaking of sweet, we got a bunch of sweet, big, heavy-duty parts that we're going to start putting on here. So the list of parts we're going to be throwing to this thing is pretty extensive, but we're going to start off with this heavy-duty rack and pinion from Super ATV. You can just look at the size difference in this thing, and even the size difference in the rods coming out. Nowhere near close to the same stock, so that's a great upgrade from stock. And just an FYI, I am a Super ATV dealer. If anybody needs any of this stuff, hit me up. I'd be happy to help you out. We also have a new front diff. You can see our old front diff compared to the new one. Super ATV does a complete new housing on this. None of that is the same at all. That's a complete new deal, and everything in here is way beefier and heavier duty than what's in our stock unit. We're also doing the carrier bearing, because that's a must pretty much on any RZR at all. If you have one that's even completely stock, you need to do that. And also, the Super ATV drive shafts. So this is a Super ATV one. You can see that compared to the stock one. I mean, huge size difference. Also, huge size difference in shafts as well. This unit is way heavier. Plus, not to mention the fact that I've never seen a Polaris drive shaft that was actually phased correctly either. So with all that in combination with each other, the drive shaft is pretty much a must as well. So let's go ahead and start throwing these parts in here and see if we can at least make this thing a roller or something before the end of the video. All right, while Connor's tightening up the last couple bolts there on the motor, I want to go ahead and show you guys what we're going to do for suspension on this thing. We've got all the biggest, baddest stuff that they have at Super ATV, so let me flip this around and show you what we've got. So everything we're putting on is going to be our box stuff from Super ATV. These front A-arms do have the 300M ball joints in them, so that's the biggest, beefiest stuff they've got there. The trailing arms back there are huge. Those things are ginormous. They also have a pretty good sized kick up there compared to a stock one, so they give us a lot more clearance on the trails. And then our radius rods back here, if you've seen the factory radius rods on a Polaris, these things are monstrous compared to those. And they're also adjustable with some rod ends out here on the end, so that's really nice to be able to set our suspension up right. So let's go ahead and get all this stuff on there, and I guess also while we're doing that, we're going to throw our Rhino axles in there. He already had 2 of them in there on the rear for like the top one up there. And you can see one in there we already had kind of mocked up. So we've got 2 of those that are used, but we've got 2 brand new ones there for the front. So we're going to put all this stuff together now and, like I said, see if we can't make this thing roll. as we were putting this thing together, I realized that it's kind of silly to go ahead and have the shocks and everything else on here, because that stuff's all going to have to come right back off so that I can go ahead and put the rest of the pieces and parts on here. So what I did do is just go ahead and mock up the tires and wheels that we have and put those on here. Got the new bead locks on there, or not new, but the freshly powder coated bead locks on there. So you guys can kind of get an idea now what it's going to look like with tires on it. And it would pretty much be a roller at this point if we wanted it to be. But like I said, that's kind of a step backwards. So anyways, in this video, it's about as much stuff as we're going to do. On our next video, I am planning on trying to have this thing completely wrapped up, and hopefully we're going to go hit some trails with it and see what it's going to do. So you guys are going to make sure and hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and check the little bell next to it so you get the notifications of when the next video comes out on this thing, because that should be a blast on that one. So anyways, I guess that's about all I got for you guys on today's video. I'll see you guys next time.